Hello and welcome to another episode of Garden Journalist, where I take you on a journey to explore some remarkable gardens and meet some exceptional gardeners behind them. Across the country, some of the finest gardening happens in private gardens. Those are behind that garden gate and garden hedge. And today I'm stepping into a garden just like that. It is lovingly cared for over 35 years by a very exceptional gardener, Nan Leech. Her story is as layered and fascinating as that garden. And guess what? Now it is the peony season and we'll be seeing her glorious peonies. So I just cannot wait to show you around. Let's go. Nan, thank you so much for opening your garden to me today. And I mean, I come to this garden quite frequently and every year I manage to miss the peony season. So first time ever, I can see the peonies at its prime. So yeah, I'm really lucky today.
They're early, aren't they? So yeah.
Absolutely. So how long did it take for you to do this garden?
Well, I've been here 30 years, but it hasn't been like this, obviously, because tastes change, because it was all lawn. And then I thought, no, I want more plants. And then I did some big rectangles, and then they were just too cumbersome and the planting was too high. So then I cut the rectangles, the squares into rectangles, and then it's just been going on really. And then I know I like peonies and I like irises and I like roses. So just tried to put them all in, and the campanulas came along, and so it was my first garden. I just had a window box before, and I was just great, you know, I could just do what I wanted really and plant things. And then my mother and I, we were travelling in the car to Evesham, and this huge crate of courgette plants fell off the back of a lorry right in front of us, and it drove off. So we stopped and picked them up, and then that started us digging a veg patch at the bottom, digging into the lawn. That really started things, to do a square for these courgette plants. So this garden evolves. I mean, there's no real planning. It's just if I've got some irises, more gravel has to go, or if the squares didn't work, well then we'll try rectangles.
That makes it even more interesting for me, because I know you're a phenomenal gardener and you're a plantswoman in my view. How did you know that you had an interest in this and created a garden like this? Because, you know, from a window box to this, it is quite a jump.
Well, I went to lots of gardening clubs because I was interested in it. My mother's a very keen gardener. Read loads of books, collected flower stamps, would you believe, to learn all the names of different things and arrange them from A to Z according to Latin name of the flower, not according to the country. So it was all going in really. So I just needed the practical side, and just, I mean, you don't have to be frightened. You know, if you want a wisteria on a north wall, well, just put one in and see how it does.
Well, I think Nan is being very modest here. I mean, just look at this white wisteria tree. Well, who wouldn't want one of these in their garden? And she went from window boxes to this. Well, from every angle, this garden delivers exquisite views. Just look at those irises. The composition is just so beautiful. This iris bed with euphorbias at the background is just another real highlight. She really knows how to make an impact using star plants in generous swathes. It's bold and it works. You were collecting flower stamps and all.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your upbringing and your childhood.
Only child, lived really remote place near the moors, so did loads of reading. And I suppose I was surrounded with gardening, but I never really did garden at home. I just sort of watched. It was just all in there, I suppose. And I think going to some of the gardening clubs, you know, and sitting through lots of talks and going on the visits, you know, you're interested in something and it just all develops. but I don't know really where it came from. Okay, so I've always liked peonies, I think. Again, I don't know why, I just always have. Anything that's so voluptuous, and probably more than roses even.
You're into flower arranging as well?
Yeah, I don't do sort of Hogarth curves and all that, they just go in a jug. But yes, and I go to clubs and watch the demonstrations and see the new flowers that are coming in, and they have these long boxes and they cover them up with tissue paper, and then they take them out and everybody goes, oh, you know.
Why? What is the point of that?
Because it's the surprise. So if they're bringing out a really fabulous, say, peony or something, you don't know what's in these boxes on the stage.
Yeah.
And then she lifts them out, and this is going to be the next thing in the demo. And just everybody goes, bye! It's lovely.
Revealing excitement of it all.
Yes, yeah. So.
Oh, I like that. I just find that this is another form of art, of like an artist's expression. It's like painting, but with flowers.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself as an artistic person? Do you have that inclination towards arts in general?
So I can't draw, and I can't paint. People tell me I'm artistic, but so I don't know. I mean, I'd love to be able to paint these flowers, but I can't. They're really rubbish. So I think it just comes from a love of the plants and having the ones I like. I'm big into colour, even though I like white, but if I'm having colour, it's got to go together. I don't like things that are too garish, so things will get moved if I don't like the colours.
Nan may not be good at painting, but she's clearly brilliant at creating landscapes with flowers, like a true artist. And she really understands color theory. Her palette is limited on purpose. She chooses colors that complement each other and repeats them throughout the garden. It's all very intentional. Her idea of going bold isn't about using bright colors. It's about using a restrained palette on a large scale. And that's what makes such a big impact. The pastel tones might suggest minimalism, but the blooms she's chosen are anything but. They are wonderfully maximalist. So Nan, you're a multilingualist by profession. I just think that there might be some similarities between being a multilingualist and being a plantswoman, a horticulturist, because you are the type of person who knows the Latin name for every plant that they own. So do you think that they are quite similar and those skills are applied to the gardening?
I certainly think, because I was a translator and did freelance work as well, so you've got to do all the detail and get things right. And I did some translations about flowers, so I needed to know the Latin names. But I also think, because I was a linguist and spent all this time in an office or in my study with real close work doing translations, I needed this to get out and get my fingers in the soil and water plants and plant them and propagate. Propagate's my main thing. I spend, from dawn to dusk propagating things. I just love it.
So all these plants that you have here, do you usually buy them or do you propagate them?
I propagate them. Yeah. So I bought one Madame Hardy rose, as my mum and I were sort of looking at the Peter Beals catalogues, and salivating and thinking which ones would we have. So anyway, I bought one Madame Hardy rose, and then gradually, because it hedges along, I was able to split it. I just split anything that I can split. I split irises. And if I do buy things, I look for things that have got lots coming up that can be split, either to sell them or to put here and give away. And that wisteria, well, there's actually two wisterias, and that was in the one pot. And I mean, I could see that if I got my spade down and risked it, I could get two out. So that's what I did.
That's really clever.
I'm from Derbyshire, we're economical in Derbyshire.
Like that. Oh. This part of the garden is just dreamy. And the scent of the peonies, I wish you could smell them too. These creamy blooms are definitely the stars of the show. There are Madame Hardy roses and blue campanulas dotted in between, and together they put on such an elegant, timeless and picture-perfect display. The garden is technically designed as a dry garden with all the gravel paths that connects them, but the planting is so full and lush. There's definitely something magical about this contrast. Peony season.
Yes.
They are star of the show at the moment.
Yeah.
And, many people get get intimidated by peonies because they just say, oh, it's really hard to grow them, they don't flower easily and whatnot. Can you tell us how to grow peonies? What are the tips? Is it hard to grow them?
It really isn't, no. So when you buy your pot, just put it in the ground just to the level that it's already at in the pot. So just don't bury it deep because that can stop them flowering. And
so that's very important. So burying them deep might stop them from flowering.
Yes, they say so. So yeah, but I never do. So, and then make sure you put some supports in fairly early on. I find peony baskets, they just don't make them big enough for my peonies. Obviously, if you're just buying one like that, you could invest in a nice peony basket and that'll keep it supported. Because there's nothing worse if there's wind and it
blows over.
Goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, I mean, you can pick them for indoors at that stage.
When they're a bud.
Quite a tight bud. And they will open beautifully. Bring the scent indoors.
Do you feed them? Are they hungry plants?
Well, I don't. Nothing gets fed. It would depend, I think, on your conditions. Though mine's a really dry garden, so you would think I ought to feed them. I'm afraid I don't. I only feed the roses occasionally.
So there you have it. Growing peonies isn't as tricky as people think. The key is not to plant them too deep. Make sure the crown of the plant is level with the soil surface when planting. If they are buried too deep, then they might never flower. So please don't get intimidated by peonies and give it a go. Nan doesn't even feed hers, and look how glorious her peonies are. And remember, if yours didn't flower the first year, just don't give up. Peonies are a long game, but totally worth the wait, isn't it? I love the campanulas.
Yeah.
It really ties this garden together. They're just scattered everywhere.
I like the fact that there's dark blue, paler blue and the white.
Oh.
And they're really good in a vase because they're quite waxy, so they last quite well. You can pick quite long stems as well.
They're very tall.
Yeah.
No, they're lovely.
Yeah, so they just spread like a mat and you can just dig them up. So this is Brindle Beauty that a friend brought me back from France, and it's going over now, but it's really stunning.
Oh, this is stunning. I mean, it's almost going over now, but there's still a lot of beautiful flowers on them.
So it's getting to the stage now where obviously I shall give you a root, and then I can pot things up. This is what I do for the animal charities. I have a lot of purple irises with a gold beard, and I'd rather have a better mix. So they get dug up. Some I dig up in flower and take off to the market and sell them for animal charities.
Nan's garden isn't just a place of beauty. It is also a force for good. She raises funds for animal charities by selling extra plants she's grown, setting them out by her garden gate and at local markets. She's named the initiative Flora for Fauna. For the past 5 years, she has quietly turned her passion for plants into support for animals in need.
Having so many plants, I thought, what am I going to do? So I put some out on the pavement and sold some. I'm into my 5th year now. And it was 1 February and I had an awful lot of hellebores, which were actually in flower. So that's what started it. And then I thought the pavement's hopeless because people can't park. So then I found Winchcombe Country Market once a month. So I get myself geared up and take whatever I can fit in the car and sell plants there.
Now Nan takes me through what she calls the quiet area of the garden. But truthfully, I'm not managing to be very quiet at that point. I'm like a kid in a candy shop, stopping to inspect every plant and probably asking like a million questions. Then I spot her beautiful quince tree. And being Turkish, this one really hits home for me. Quince trees are deeply rooted in Turkish culture for thousands of years and is associated with abundance and prosperity. In some regions, it's even tradition to place quinces in a newlywed's bedroom to bless them with fertility and a fruitful life. Oh, we also have a traditional quince dessert, which I adore, and it was a favorite in the kitchens of the Ottoman sultans. It's poached slowly with sugar, glistens like jewel, and served with thick clotted cream. Like, honestly, it's to die for. And the
Medlar.
medlar. Oh,
Yeah.
I love a medlar tree. I love a quince tree and I love a medlar tree. I mean, she has both.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I love it. And it
Yes.
is full of medlars, look.
Yes, it always has some, and now I know I can eat them because you
Yes.
gave me that tart. So
Yes,
I'm all sorted.
beautiful.
I wasted them all those years.
No,
So,
I do this amazing medlar tart, and it is beautiful. It's sharp, it's very delicate,
really
it's very
nice,
light.
Yeah.
So certainly a medlar tart if you have a medlar tree.
So you have to pick some in bud and take them home.
And make a little
Now that
bunch.
we've done the filming.
Yay!
Yeah,
That's my prize. I love that. I would like to
Yeah,
get a bunch of
Get you some
peonies.
secateurs, yeah.
Yes,
and then
yes.
you can take them and enjoy them in home. Those are quite nice ones to pick.
Oh, yay. Bring me my secateurs.
Yeah, I've got the secateurs ready.
Oh. So which of these peonies are your favorites?
That's a very good question. And I suppose it's really these, which I think are Duchess Dunamore, simply because they're white with the cream in the centre.
Oh, that cream in the center is
Yeah.
just so delightful.
Yeah. So
I mean,
probably
this
me.
is also something
Yeah.
special. This is so showy.
I've had a love-hate relationship with pink over the years. The Molly the Witch peonies, which are over here, under there, those I do leave the seed pods on.
Oh yeah, they have very funny seeds.
Yeah, and so these will open to bright fuchsia pink with black seeds.
Really?
Absolutely. So you leave these on.
Interesting.
These flower much earlier than those ones.
Oh, I had no idea about this.
Yeah, so Molly the Witch peonies. And then as soon really as they've opened and you've enjoyed seeing this bright fuchsia pink and the black seeds, plant the seeds straight away, fresh. And they come up really easily. I mean, you've got to wait 3 or 4 years before they flower, but I mean, they're just wonderful. That's why I've got so many.
Nan, thank you so much for today. I really enjoyed talking to you, and thank you for opening your garden. It is absolutely stunning. You're such a good gardener. Filled me with so much inspiration, so many ideas, and I won't be scared of growing peonies anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's
You're
my
really
takeaway.
welcome, and it's lovely to have someone so enthusiastic who just comes and walks and goes, oh, look at that and look at that. I mean, it's just wonderful. So thank you.
The more gardens I visit, the more I believe that gardening is an art form, and the gardener an artist painting with plants, or perhaps even a performance artist creating theatre and drama with living things. When I step into a mature garden like this one, shaped with great skill, vision, and deep care over many years, it becomes very clear to me that this is a form of art that definitely deserves to be seen, and that the gardener's story must be told. A garden, after all, is just never truly finished. It's alive. It shifts, it grows, it fades and flourishes again. It's constantly evolving, just like the person tending it. So I hope this video captures a single moment in that unfolding masterpiece, a still frame in that ever-changing life of a garden. Because the moment I step out of it, I know that's already begun to change. And my time today with Nan reminded me of something else too. Some heroes don't wear capes. They just quietly go about their work, propagating plants, raising money for animal charities, and creating beauty without expecting any praise. Now these are the unsung heroes whose stories stay with me the longest. Well, it's been an absolute honor to tell Nan's story. We definitely need more people like her in our world. What a garden that was. I really did enjoy today's visit. Got lots of inspiration. I hope you liked it too. If you liked this episode, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel for more content like that. Until then, happy gardening and see you soon. Bye-bye.